With us in Sicario East with a big battle between Pärson and Kostelić for the overall crown. This is women's downhill in the season of 2004-2005, and actually the precursor to the Olympic event, which was held 1 year later on the same slope. The Torino 2006 Winter Olympics really relied on San Sicario and the surrounding area for all of the women's Alpine competitions. Right here, and fittingly, we have an Italian first off. A look at this course, the Fratelli, not the shortest by any means on the women's tour, almost 3.2 kilometers long and a very wide and inviting piste. It was, however, a tough course for the ladies because the speeds, the ultimate velocity on the course, very, very high. Recchia here chasing down Obermoser, the early leader, and the young Italian really putting the older Austrian very much in her place on the top section. Characteristically, the downhill competition moving from flatter to steeper terrain and very hard snow on this section, causing all sorts of problems for Recchia. Coming in without enough direction. She's still going fast here, but she's going to lose some of that advantage. She won't have gone as quickly off of that final steep pitch as she really would have liked. Nice tidy flight on the second, but one jump and the advantage has gone. Recchia hanging on by the skin of her teeth, only 1/100th of a second in it. Nice tight tuck position, opens up, presses the left hand down to help maintain pressure on that outside ski. 4 long sweeping bends before she gets to run straight to the finish, and Recchia has done a good job with the technical section. Has to stay low now, has to maintain that velocity, carry the momentum all the way to the line. One final flight and she should be safe. Lucia Recchia skiing for Italy on Italian snow over the line and just gets ahead of Brigitte Obermoser of Austria. Well, a decent margin, I have to say. 0.49, showing a very strong lower section. Switzerland next on deck. Sylvia Berthod from the Valais. Beautiful mountainous area in the Swiss Alps. A skier who has grown up practically with skis on her feet from day one. A better job on these top turns than the young Italian who preceded her. And Berthod, of course, a very strong downhill specialist. That's shown in the flight. Didn't budge from the tuck position. No fear in the air. Untidy, however, through this part. It is the first time that this race has been taken in anger by the women. A couple of training runs were plagued by softer snowfall and warm conditions. Today on race day, and it turned out very slick indeed. 1/10th of a second here for Berthod, and looking again a little ragged, a bit of a drift, but she picks up the tail end of the turn and stays in a very low position now. Excellent aerodynamics being delivered by Sylvia Berthod. This is a good final section. It's the fastest part of the course, 104.9 kilometers per hour and 3/4 of a second. Surely Switzerland can take it away from Italy. Well, 250 meters to go. Sylvia Berthod opens up. These turns are important. Had a big advantage. Doesn't want to lose it here. She's making certain, showing maturity in her approach. Losing a few hundreds, but she's certainly got plenty left to spare. Lovely final turn. Very tight on the last couple of gates. Berthod now back in that beautiful aerodynamic position, hunting down Lucia Recchia, going for the line and taking it away from Italy. Almost a second clear. Very strong showing on the lower and middle sections by Sylvia Berthod, and she's delighted. Tina Matze, Slovenian skier, made the transition from technical specialist. Her first ever World Cup win was a giant slalom win. Now trying her hand in the speed disciplines and looking very comfortable on these top turns. A little hard on the edges, however, and too much pressure generated, the legs too tight, and she's bounced way offline. has made good speed with those top turns, being very clean. A small mistake, not costing her too much. You see the green light there, indicating the skier is ahead of all of her fellow competitors. Again, clean technical turns from Tina Matse, opening the body up to maintain the position, maintain the weight over the ski. So fast through this section. This, if any, will be the section where she will struggle. The turns are very fast and there's a lot of terrain to be worked. The arms flailing as Matse gets popped in the air, and 2500s now to find. The tables have been turned on the Slovenian. Back on the race line. Can Matse make up for those mistakes? These are good turns. Oh, gets bounced around. Those small ripples in the terrain at speeds approaching 65 miles per hour, 105 kilometers per hour, really are tough on the legs of these ladies. Well, Matse's hanging on bravely, but she's been pushed wide in the line. Really don't think she's done enough in this closing stages, and a big slap from the skis off the final jump, indicating uncomfortable, out of balance position in the air. And Tina Matse goes second for now. 6800s adrift of Berthod. Well, Kostelić surely a favourite in this one. She's really come on strong the last couple of years, despite some very nasty injuries, some of those sustained in downhill. You just wonder when you see her opening the arms out and dropping low in the position. She having some bad memories of some of those crashes. Looks fast, and a long flight off the jump combined with that 0.14 advantage shows that Kostelić really is going for it. Very solid switch onto the left ski, a back onto the right, and she has the high line right on the limit of her abilities. Kostelić looking ragged and shaky, but she has the fast line through these turns and gets another 2/10 to her credit. The advantage now right up there at 0.38 of a second. So fast through this lower section. Well, Kostelić faster than anybody, 109.1 kilometers per hour. That really is motoring, 70 miles per hour through the gun. And Kostelić seems to be loving every moment of the lower part of this course, cranking the skis onto big angles, cutting the line off, and I believe even gaining more of an advantage. 3/4 of a second now, the mark, and Kostelić surely isn't going to put a foot wrong. She's got the shoulders down. She really seems to have this race totally under control. Last flight, presses it, makes certain a soft landing, and this will see off Berthod in no uncertain terms. Janica Kostelić, fastest so far here in San Sicario. Well, we've gotten used over the years to seeing that smile and Kostelić winning ways. I wonder, can she hang on? Italy on course now. They dearly love a win on home snow. Remember, this season is the one before the 2006 Winter Olympic Games. A lot of pressure being heaped on the Italian athletes' shoulders. A lot of support pumped into their programs through the 48 months running up to the Games. So right now is when the coaches, sponsors, program organisers are demanding the very most from the home athletes. Can Ceccarelli deliver? Well, she's very much in touch. Only 1200s to find on the remainder of this course. Shaky turn there. Oh, and bounced low, the skis flying off the snow. Daniela Ceccarelli is struggling here. There's a lot of speed under the skis, but she's finding it a bit too much to handle. Half a second adrift of Janica Kostelić of Croatia. Ceccarelli of Italy needs to dig deep, needs to try to maintain that body position she has now found. This looks better from the Italian. Ceccarelli nice and tight in the tuck, really gunning in the last Few hundred meters, 1:10.91. The final split, unfortunately, has gone by for her. And now, with only 104 kilometers on the speed gun, I just wonder if Ceccarelli can manage to claw anything back at all. Skis running cleanly, not much noise, not much snow coming up from the edges, but the line, unlike Kostelić, is round. Kostelić carved in early, stayed tight to the gates. Ceccarelli is being pushed wide and again has to open up the body to make a line adjustment. Fights back into the tuck. A good attacking run in the last 100 meters, a long flight and a hard landing, but all the effort isn't enough. Ceccarelli back in third and Kostelić hangs on to top position. 1:58 the difference, and Ceccarelli's not impressed at all. Big shout for Jules Mancuso. Real rising star of the US ski team. Been having a very strong season throughout 2005. She and Lindsey Kildow vying for honours in both the technical and the speed events. Let's see if Mancuso can get the blend right. There's some tough technical turns, and the top section seems to have gone the way of the American. 1100ths. And was strong from Kostelić. Oh, a little hesitation from Mancuso. Perhaps not realizing how far she was going to fly, and she's still a little in the back seat, struggling to regain control, and I think she'll have lost the advantage. Well, not quite. Some of it's gone. 500s still on her side. And Mancuso seems to want to move it up a gear. Very low position and a fight. Oh, overcooks it, however. Giulia Mancuso very lucky to stay on her feet. And look at what the error has cost her in terms of time. Well, I think she's going to be grateful to make it to the bottom of the piste in one piece. And she's still attacking. That really shows true grit and determination, the mark of a true champion. Mancuso battling all the way, but the concentration and the control has gone. She's wide on these final turns, and if she loses any more time, well, I really don't think she should care too much about that. Best just to hang on and try to improve next time around. On 53.10 will remain safe and sound. It looks like it might be the winning time for Kostelić. Mancuso cannot answer. She's back in third for now, but 1.34 off the pace. A mistake like this, she should be pleased. She's still on her feet in the finish area. Team Canada on course here in San Sicario. We have Emily Brydon gliding into the first gate. Strong athlete, long limbs, and able to deliver a lot of power to the ski. Let's see if she can dial in the timing. Oh, the run into the turn was a little direct, and Brydon still struggling to get back online. She's way outside the blue dye mark, indicating possibly as much as 5 or 6 meters wide of the ideal racing line. She's done a good job to hang on to a reasonably respectable time on the top split, but again, she needs to tidy things up. Oh, scrappy here. Certainly no lack of attack from Brydon. The arms snapping the poles under the wings. Every opportunity trying to get into that tuck position. But really we need cleaner turns. It's okay attacking on these fast courses, but it just means that the speed translates to pressure when the skiers come to the curve, and they really must be better or ideally poised and balanced on their skis on the initiation phase of the turns. Brydon a little back, looks uncertain of the line, now hanging on through the second and third parts of the turns. This is a bit better, but in too straight, and another small error from Brydon sees her bounced wide over the right ski. Well, once again, no faulting the determination of the athlete. Brydon gets the shoulders down low. She's not giving up on this one by any means at all. Touches and ducks for the line. Second position, that's very respectable from Brydon, and definitely something that she can work on for future competitions, and particularly for those all-important Olympic Games. Hilde Gerg for Germany, the speed specialist from the German camp. A lot of important competition titles under her belt, one which eluded her very recently, just prior to this competition, Bormio World Championship Downhill. A lot of people had tipped her to win that one, but 8th was the best she could manage, so a chance at this point in her season to try to regain the honour for the German team. She has such a strong reputation in the downhill, and this is clean skiing from Gerg. She's a little ragged, but we've already seen that from some competitors as an indication of high-speed skiing. There you go, 3200s to find. That's definitely within Hilde Gerg's reach. Kostelić down, and definitely just hanging on and no more flying off these little bumps and hollows. Hilde Gerg really going for the line. Next split, well, it's important for her, and she's still in touch. The speed gun giving her 106.8 kilometers per hour. This really is quick. Kostelić ever so slightly quicker, but if Gerg can nail these final turns, she could turn the tables on the Croatian. Goes in tight, leans right in, and is early into the tuck. 3800s, it's still there. She still needs to try to shave that third of a second off of her time. Gerg low with the back, the shoulders hunched, very clean in the final couple of turns. The last jump, can she nail it? Yes, the body stretch is maybe catching the air just a fraction, and over the line. It's second place, but again, time lost within sight of the line. The final jump and the final turn didn't quite go to plan. Kostelić stays right at the top of the leaderboard. America really with one more serious chance in this competition, and it comes in the shape of this lady, Lindsey Kildow. Oh, a little chatter from the skis on the entry, and Kildow is low. Well, like Mancuso, no lack of commitment there. Offline, but just cranked the ski over another few degrees and has kept herself in contention. First jump, a decent flight from Kildow. And looking good, looking confident, looking brave through here. And like Mancuso, gets a big kick from the skis, but Kildow hangs on much better. This is good skiing from Lindsey Kildow. 6200s to find. The gun, well, not quite as fast as a couple of the skiers we've seen, but there's work that can be done to gain the skiers' precious 10th through these final turns. Again, we hear that slight chatter from the skis. Kildow tries to hunt her down and gets pushed offline, really attacking the curves too aggressively. A lucky escape, you could say, for Kildow. Safely, however, across the line, but she's let it slip in the last 200 or 300 meters there. A couple of mistakes that she could ill afford, and well, that's not the result she was looking for today. Now, tour leader in this discipline right here as we move into springtime of 2005 is this lady, Austria's own golden girl, Renate Götschl. Such a brave and punchy competitor. Tried to tuck into that first big right-hander. The speed too high, however, and the body getting pushed out of balance, and the line was lost as a consequence. And into the bargain, there's a third of a second that Götschl now has to try to find on the remainder of the course. A long way to go. Best part of 3.2 kilometers long, this competition hill. And for the women, something of a new kind of test in downhill. Long flight from Götschl, lands it beautifully, and she really is going. Improved her position here. Only 1200s now remain to be found. And another very tidy flight from Renate Götschl. Now, we've seen time lost on this lower section, but Götschl seems to be going faster and faster. Must get these turns clean and daren't come out of the tuck position if she wants to challenge Kostelić, who's been sitting at the top of the leaderboard for some time now. Oh, Götschl hunting around the turns. That's not the quickest way. She gets the body twisted round, loses direction and runs way out to her left. What's it cost her? That's the only question that remains to be answered, because Götschl surely can't make that back. Oh, she's not quitting though. Very ragged skiing, showing the skier is taking more risks than she really ought to. And now Götschl over the line, hasn't quite done enough and finds herself back in 6th, despite a very, very punchy and brave performance on the last 4 turns. Götschl hands over to teammate Michaela Dorfmeister. Last real chance here for Austria, I believe. Now that's the way to ski this section. Dorfmeister very high on the entry to the left-hander, drops a little low on the exit to the following turn, but looks to be going fast here. Yes, definitely in touch at the top split. 700ths, it's a blink of an eye. Mickey Dorfmeister, small mistake there. The ski's drifting sideways, but still attacking. Clear indication there, the skier getting into the tuck position, even when the skis are still bouncing around, showing that they're fully committed to the task in hand. And another very strong split time. 900ths now. It's all she needs to find. Mickey Dorfmeister opening up a lot on that jump, and maybe that's where 1 or 2 of those kilometers have been bled away. You're seeing her posting a 105.4 kilometers per hour on the speed gun. That's a full 4 kilometers per hour down on Janica Kostelić, who is still leading. Dorfmeister really has no concern for the times, no concern for the speeds. Look at the look of determination and grit on the face of the Austrian. The teeth showing there in a grimace of power and determination. Here she goes for the line. Has she done enough? 8/10. Well, she'll be cursing these last couple of turns like teammate Götschl. Well, a brave showing there, looks happy. Kostelić thought she'd beaten her, and possibly this is the only lady left who can turn the tables. Sweden's top star, Anja Pärson. Here she comes, looking at her in the midsection of this course, and my goodness, this is going to be a turn up for the books. 3100ths, and it's the green light. Pärson flying. Now, she's come from the technical background and really hasn't excelled yet at downhill. Perhaps this is going to be her day. 132.32, the next split is very important. Pärson opens the body up, makes certain of the line. It's not the fastest aerodynamically, but she doesn't care. She's cut the line off and she's gained, what, 6/10 there over anybody else in the field. Janica Kostelić looks very edgy in the leader's enclosure as Anja Pärson now flies at this finish line. And my oh my, the surprise of the season. Pärson delivers in San Sicario, her first ever win.
Helt jävla otroligt.
Well, this race still has some way to run, but what a day it's been. Now, Nadia Steger tries to regain the form that she found earlier in this particular year on this pre-Olympic test run. Steger, however, a long way off. And the speed gun shows that she is a downhill specialist. She's got 105.9 kilometers per hour on the clock, but she really hasn't handled the turns well enough. And there's a couple more to go between here and the finish line. Perhaps too much of an ask for Steger, and it looks like this will go the way of the Pärson family. 1.76 now, and it's too much, I believe. Steger opening up the body, but she's run wide on these turns. This is where Pärson won the competition. She put the technical skills that she's nurtured from a very early age to incredibly good use at a very high speed, and Steger, the Swiss downhill specialist, has no answer for Pärsson's performance. Well, confirmation there, 1:52.86, the fastest woman on this mountain. There she is, Anja Pärson, with good friends Janica Kostelić, placing second, and the lady in pink, Hilde Gerg of Germany, goes third. What a story, however, for Pärson. She has truly made the transition from technical specialist to all-rounder here today in San Sicario.